David, the Shepherd King. Have you ever wondered how a simple shepherd boy became one of the greatest kings in history? How could a young man, armed with nothing but a sling and a few stones, rise to command nations, lead armies, and shape the destiny of God's chosen people? This is not just the story of a warrior, nor merely the rise of a king. It is the story of David, the shepherd who captured the heart of God. In the days when Israel was ruled by judges and prophets, the land was restless. Tribes quarreled, enemies gathered at the borders, and the voice of the people rose to heaven. "Give us a king to lead us." And so God chose Saul, a man tall and strong, a warrior whose presence inspired fear. But Saul's heart grew proud. He obeyed his own desires rather than the voice of God. And the Lord said to the prophet Samuel, "I have rejected Saul from being king over Israel. Go, for I have chosen another." Samuel trembled. "Whom, Lord? Who could take the place of a king?" And God whispered, "In Bethlehem, among the sons of Jesse, you will find the one I have chosen." So the old prophet journeyed to Bethlehem, a humble town, forgotten by kings and armies. Jesse, a simple man, brought forth his sons one by one, each strong, tall, noble, the kind of men the world calls kings. But God said to Samuel, "Do not look at his appearance or the height of his stature. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." 7 sons passed before him, yet the Lord chose none. Samuel asked, "Are these all your sons?" Jesse hesitated. "There remains yet the youngest, but he is tending the sheep." Samuel smiled. "Send for him, for we will not sit down until he comes." And there he came, David, a boy with sunburnt skin, eyes like morning light, and a sling hanging at his side. The wind still clung to him, carrying the scent of the fields and the song of the hills. Then the voice of God spoke again within Samuel's heart. "Arise, anoint him, for this is he." The prophet poured oil upon the boy's head, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day forward. A new chapter in Israel's story had begun. Yet David did not ascend the throne immediately. He returned to the fields, to his sheep, to the quiet life of a shepherd. He sang psalms to the Lord beneath the stars, songs that would echo through eternity. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul." But even as David played his harp among the hills, the shadow of destiny grew nearer. Israel trembled before the armies of the Philistines. Their champion, Goliath of Gath, stood over 9 feet tall, his armor gleamed like bronze fire. His voice thundered across the valley. For 40 days he mocked Israel and defied God. "Send out a man to fight me," he roared. But no one dared, not even King Saul. Then one day, a young shepherd arrived at the camp, bringing bread for his brothers. He heard Goliath's challenge and asked, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers laughed. His brothers scolded him. But David's words reached Saul. And when he stood before the king, Saul looked at him with disbelief. "You are but a boy," he said. "He has been a warrior from his youth." But David replied, "When a lion or bear came and took a lamb from my flock, I struck it down. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear will deliver me from this Philistine." So Saul gave him his armor, but it hung heavy on David's frame. He removed it, choosing instead the tools of a shepherd, a staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones from the brook. He walked out alone to face the giant. Goliath laughed, his voice echoing like thunder. "Am I a dog, that you come to me with sticks?" But David answered, "You come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, whom you have defied." Then David ran forward, swung his sling, and the stone flew, guided by the unseen hand of God. It struck Goliath in the forehead, and the giant fell face down upon the earth. The boy stood victorious. The armies of Israel surged with renewed faith, and the Philistines fled. From that moment, David's name spread across the land like wildfire. He became a hero, a warrior, a leader of men. But as his fame grew, so did Saul's jealousy. The king who once loved him now sought his life. David fled into the wilderness, hiding among caves and mountains. By night he sang to the Lord, by day he evaded death. And though Saul hunted him relentlessly, David refused to strike back. When given a chance to kill Saul, David whispered, "I will not lay my hand on the Lord's anointed." For he knew that vengeance belonged not to man, but to God. In the silence of the caves, his heart was refined like gold in fire. He learned humility, patience, and trust. And through his suffering, the shepherd became a king, not by crown, but by spirit. When Saul fell upon his own sword in battle, the nation wept. And David rose, not in triumph, but in tears. He mourned his fallen king, even the one who had sought his death. Then, at last, David was anointed king over all Israel. The shepherd had become sovereign. He brought the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, dancing before the Lord with all his might. He built a city, united the tribes, and established peace. The people sang, "David has slain his tens of thousands." And the Lord made a covenant with him, saying, "Your throne shall be established forever." But even kings are not without flaw. One evening, when kings went out to war, David stayed behind. From the rooftop of his palace, he saw a woman, Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah. Desire clouded his judgment, and in his weakness, he took what was not his to take. The prophet Nathan came to him with a parable of a rich man who stole a poor man's only lamb. David's anger burned. "Such a man deserves to die," he declared. Then Nathan said, "You are that man." In that moment, the mighty king was brought to his knees. His crown weighed heavy with guilt. He wept bitterly before God, crying out, "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." And though the consequences of his sin were grave, God did not remove his mercy. For David's repentance was deep, sincere, and true. As years passed, David grew old. He looked back on a life of victories and sorrows, songs and wars. He remembered the fields of Bethlehem, the stars above the hills, the voice of God calling him when he was no one. He spoke to his son Solomon, saying, "Be strong, and show yourself a man. Walk in the ways of the Lord your God. Keep his statutes, his commandments, and his testimonies." Then, when his time came, David slept with his fathers. His throne passed to Solomon, but his legacy endured far beyond any earthly kingdom. For from David's line would come another shepherd, another king, one greater than all before him. From Bethlehem would rise the son of David, the Messiah, the Christ, whose kingdom shall have no end. David's story is not merely one of power, but of the heart. He was a man of passion and pain, of courage and weakness. A man after God's own heart. He teaches us that greatness does not begin in palaces, but in pastures. That victory is not born of strength, but of faith. And that even when we fall, grace can raise us higher than before. For the God who lifted a shepherd to the throne can lift any soul from the wilderness of sin to the kingdom of his everlasting light. The shepherd king still speaks, not through swords or crowns, but through the songs he left behind. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?